If you get a decent paycheck on the 1st, but your bank app shows double digits by the 25th of the month, you know exactly how this anxiety feels. You make a good salary, but between rent, a few dinners out, and a handful of subscriptions, the money just evaporates. The standard advice is to log every 10 rupee expense in a spreadsheet. In reality, that usually leads to budget burnout within 2 weeks. You don't need micro-tracking. You need macro boundaries. That is where the 50-30-20 rule comes in. The framework was popularized by bankruptcy law expert and U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren. It was co-authored by her daughter, Amelia Warren Tayadi, in their 2005 book, All You're Worth. The core philosophy of their system is simple. Automate your financial priorities so you never have to rely on daily willpower. By trading extreme tracking for structural guardrails, the average earner can avoid financial burnout and the constant guilt of spending. Let's apply this to a realistic baseline, a take-home after-tax salary of 50,000 rupees per month. The rule requires you to split this money into 3 distinct categories, starting with the largest portion. 50% of your income, which is a maximum of 25,000 rupees here, goes strictly to your needs. That covers rent, groceries, utilities, and minimum EMI payments. We have to define a need strictly. These are the non-negotiable survival costs that must be paid even if you lose your job tomorrow. Capping basic living costs at 50% in an expensive metro city requires compromise. It often means living further from the city center, taking a smaller space, or having roommates. But if you let your needs creep up to 70 or 80% of your income, you automatically destroy your ability to save. Maintaining that 50% boundary is what makes the rest of the framework possible. Bucket 2 is the 30% allocated for your wants. In our example, that gives you 15,000 rupees for dining out, Netflix, gadgets, and vacations. Wants are your lifestyle choices. They improve your quality of life, but they are not critical for your basic survival. Allocating a strict 30% for fun actually creates psychological freedom. It eliminates the guilt usually associated with spending money on yourself, because the limit is already set. But this only works if you accept a severe trade-off. Once that 15,000 rupees is spent, spending stops. You absolutely cannot dip into your savings bucket to fund a weekend plan. Setting an unyielding cap on discretionary spending provides the freedom to enjoy your lifestyle while still protecting your future. The final bucket is the remaining 20%, or 10,000 rupees, dedicated entirely to savings and investments. This relies on the pay yourself first principle. This 20% must be moved out of your primary account the exact day your salary is credited. The absolute first destination for this money is building an emergency fund, aiming for a baseline of 3 to 6 months of expenses. This chart shows how rare that buffer actually is. Notice the steep drop-off in the curve when looking at the percentage of families who manage to maintain at least 3 to 6 months of liquid savings. Filling this bucket requires an intentional trade-off. You are actively reducing your day-to-day purchasing power today to secure your position for tomorrow. While the 50% keeps you alive today, the 20% is the only non-negotiable mechanism that buys your future freedom. While 50-30-20 is a great baseline, it isn't a perfect fit for everyone. Let's compare the alternatives. The envelope method uses hard cash limits or distinct UPI wallets for each category. It introduces high friction, making it best for people prone to impulse overspending. Then there's zero-based budgeting. This requires assigning a specific job to every single rupee you earn, so income minus expenses equals exactly 0. It's required for aggressive savers, people with irregular incomes, or anyone fighting high-interest debt needing maximum control over their cash flow. But for standard salary earners who just need boundaries without overwhelming complexity, 50-30-20 offers the ideal middle ground. You can set the system up in under an hour. Step 1. Calculate your exact in-hand salary after all tax and PF deductions. You need the real number hitting your account. Step 2. Set up an auto debit, like a mutual fund SIP or a recurring deposit, for your 20% savings. Schedule it to leave your account on the 2nd of every month. Finally, move your 30% wants money into a completely separate UPI wallet. This physical barrier prevents accidental overspending by isolating your discretionary cash. 1 hour of setting up automation protects your income for the entire year. Control your money structurally before it controls your life. If you want to build better structural habits, subscribe to the channel for more practical, no-nonsense financial frameworks.